So, this Monday Night Raw begins with a recap from last week and the whole ordeal about Kevin Owens winning a Universal Championship, which it is a big deal because that happening last week, that was a big fucking step forward. But could WWE keep that? There were ups and downs about this week. More downs than ups, in my opinion. But yeah, so they showed an earlier recording with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon having a little bit of an argument concerning, what happened. Of course, Foley wants answers, and Stephanie didn't have anything for him. And okay, fine. They're trying to sell the fact that, yeah, can we trust Stephanie? Was she in on it because it was her husband and so on and so forth? But judge on the tone of last week on how Triple H handled it and how Stephanie handled it, yeah, okay, fine, for now. So, yeah, they end up in the ring and stuff like that, to begin the show, and they introduced Kevin Owens. A big "You Deserve It" chant came from the crowd, and he was like, yeah, I deserve it. And he played the crowd, and he played the heel, which was pretty fucking cool. It establishes him as a heel, and, well, he was already a heel, but you know what I mean. He's not transitioning. So we have an answer there. But then Seth Rollins comes out. Duh. Has a problem. Duh. Attacks Kevin Owens later on after he asked Stephanie and he chastised her and he was like, yeah, what do you cut the bull crap as far as you had something to do with it. It was your husband. Yeah. Seth Rollins would know, right? As far as, being open to be screwed and stuff like that. He was Triple H's lapdog for well close to 2 years. So it's like, yeah. But the funniest thing about it is, okay, I know this is scripted and all, but Seth, you didn't see this coming sooner or later? But anyway, yeah, after the attack, and Stephanie actually tried to pull the trigger as far as suspending Seth Rollins, and Foley reverses that. I like that conflict there, but with authority, as you will, because it makes sure that Stephanie doesn't have all the hearsay and doesn't make all the fucking decisions. Maybe that'll create some dissension, but I still like that type of tension. That I make the decision. No, it's not going down like that. Fuck that. That was pretty cool. And Foley actually makes a couple of matches. But, and, okay, this is, the end of the show was the real problem here. And I'll get to that in a bit. So, of course, Owens has a problem with Foley making a match at Clash of Champions between Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Jericho shows up. This is a backstage segment. Jericho actually shows up, and he also has a problem with it because he's Kevin Owens' best friend. Fine. So Foley puts Jericho in the match with Seth Rollins. Big deal, right? But you kind of saw that coming. And Stephanie actually agrees with the decision that Mick made. So, again, you kind of saw all of that coming. You couldn't, come on. Only a stupid idiot would not see that coming. So anyway, you have, one thing that was kind of funny, that Jericho called Kevin Owens the longest reigning Universal Champion in history. I thought, okay, wait. Kevin Owens surpassed Vacant because Vacant was the longest champion in history until Kevin Owens completed a week as champion. So, yeah, I just thought that was pretty hilarious, Jericho saying that. So, Bayley versus Charlotte. No belt on the line, no contendership on the line, which is kind of because Bayley beat Charlotte. Now, okay, look. Whenever someone is vying for a position for a championship and they defeat the champion, then they should be at least creeping up in line or next in line. But it didn't go that way. And I'll explain that a little bit later. But there was a couple of backstage segments with freaking Dana and Charlotte. You know, Charlotte gives Dana a clipboard and write down everything. But even during the match, Dana interfered in the match. But then bumps into Charlotte. Charlotte gets rolled up, and she gets cost the match. And backstage, yeah, Charlotte, she goes crazy, blames Dana for everything, even though Charlotte should have been out there alone in the fucking first place. Slaps Dana. Oh God. Could they just pair Dana up with Anderson and Gallows and just keep it that way, just like last week? And you know, that pair up, if they keep that, first of all, it'll give a chance for Dana to shine, and it will kind of remind me of Test and Albert with Trish Stratus to a degree, if they would do that. That would be much better than Dana being Charlotte's valet. Separate that. It's not going anywhere. It's just not. So, fuck that. Bo Dallas beats a jobber. Believe in Bo. But the funniest part about it was, even though he was wearing a social outcast outfit still, he showed a lot of aggression in that match. There was hardly any smiling. There was hardly any mic work as far as the ridiculous believe stuff. He went out there and he kind of destroyed, even though it was a jobber. This is a path to maybe take him seriously. Maybe. So Bo Dallas beats a jobber. There's too many jobbers now. Okay, I grew up in the age of watching wrestling shows with wrestlers versus jobbers. But nowadays, you're telling me that your roster is not that deep, or you don't have something for a lot of people that are there, that you have to put jobbers in front of certain people? It doesn't make any sense to me. Make certain matches with certain people and have certain people win that's indefinitely on the fucking roster. That should be happening. Jericho versus Seth Rollins was a good match. It was. It really was. And the spots for it were, pretty case in point. They didn't do anything extra extravagant because that would be for a pay-per-view. But it was a pretty solid match. Rollins winning with a pedigree, though. Okay, look, you're still going to steal your former mentor's finishing move? Okay, maybe it was a message that was being sent to Triple H, but it still was confusing to me. I didn't think that was kind of... no. He should have used something else. I understand he can't do the curve stomp, but he should have came up with something else to actually prove that he was actually going out on his own, because that would have been symbolic, more symbolic than the pedigree, in my opinion. So Cesaro goes against Sheamus in the best of 7, and Cesaro loses again. He had tape on his shoulder. He had tape on his back. He's just a moving fucking... Those are just targets now. And, okay, look. Everybody knows that Sheamus is going to lose at least 3 of the next 4 matches. Sheamus is up 3-0. Well, really, it should be 3-2. Because even before the this series started, championship series, it's not a fucking championship series. There's no title on the line. Before the series even started, Cesaro had 2 up on Sheamus. So this is a result of 5 matches, but they're still counting the series only 3 matches to 0. Break out the brooms! It's not going to fucking happen, okay? Cesaro is going to win 3 of the last 4 matches, at least. So, and once again, this doesn't really mean anything. This is just to get a fucking title shot? No. Fuck, especially the U.S. title shot. Oh, and Rusev not there. Rusev absent. Rusev with Lana. Rusev ribs still hurt. Rusev, you have one of your champions absent for the 2nd week in a row. Really shits on the fucking title that he holds. Maybe they have him and the belt absent because they're absolutely making a new one, just like the Universal and the WWE and the Women's Championships with the fucking Wonder Woman W's on them. Anyway, the Shining Stars beating Enzo and Cass. So it's really come to this in this tag team division. It has. You have the repackaged Epico and Primo. You have the fucking Matadors. You have these fucking shining stars. You have the Carlito Cousin remixes. You have them beat Enzo and Cass. Regardless of how it went, regardless of the roll up and holding the tights, I can't take that seriously. I just don't. Enzo and Cass losing to the Shining Stars, there's only one finger that can describe that, and I'm going to spell it out for you. Pinky, thumb, ring, index, middle. Fuck that shit. That doesn't make any sense. No, it just doesn't. So, you have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Pretty good match, pretty solid match. They're still selling Sami's ankle injury. God damn it. Yeah. I understand that they're trying to make Kevin Owens something, but to have an injury really decide the match, I wasn't a real big fan of that. I'm just not, because Sami Zayn deserves better. Yes, this is like the third week that actually happened, but oh well. Yeah. Even though I wanted to talk about that before the actual end of the show, because that took place at the end of the show, but I actually wanted to talk about the match before I talk about the ending of the show, because the ending of the show pissed me off. But that was a really substantial match, because the way the match was set up was, once again, they're having war of the words in the mic. And Sami Zayn was just basically saying, yeah, I beat Kevin Owens at Battleground, but I didn't get anywhere as far as up the ranks or anything like that. And he's right. Then Kevin Owens, he gets getting the title match and then actually wins the Universal Championship. Yes, he had help do it, but simple as that. And it was kind of the war of the words with those two. Yeah, I got to the finish line first. Yeah, you got here first. You got to NXT first. You got to the NXT Championship first. But yeah, I got here first. Sami Zayn was like, I'm going to get there. And when I do get there, I won't have it handed to me. Bravo. Keep the tension between those two, because they're going to cross again later, even though they're supposedly have their last match. But even though I said it at the Battleground review, if they face each other again, it should be for a fucking belt. That was the only thing that was missing about the Battleground match. But moving on. Nia Jax versus some jobber. Ugh. Nia Strowman. Braun Jax. Whatever. Now, the funniest thing about this was, they mentioned this jobber to be a friend of Alicia Fox, and this is supposed to be Ann's debut. The funniest thing about this, is that after the match, there was a backstage segment with Nia Jax and Alicia Fox. Now, I was a guest on the Blaze and Mel Funsky Wrestling Podcast, number 55. Go check that out. I was a guest on there, and we had a blast talking about wrestling, Raw, SmackDown, and Kevin Owens becoming Universal Champion last week and all the events that took place. But even on that podcast, it was said that Nia Jax is not doing anything, just feed her Alicia Fox. And next thing you know, this week, Alicia Fox is on the road to being fed to Nia Jax. Bravo for calling that. I wasn't the one that even said it on the podcast last week, but bravo for calling that. Big shout out to Blaze and Mel Funsky. They are cool dudes. They're cool wrestling fans. Check their podcast out. Okay, so Anderson and Gallows bring out the old day. This segment went on way too long. Even though it was a good joke, but no one was really laughing because of how far they took it. It's how long they took it. This should have been a backstage segment more than anything else. That should have lasted maybe a minute or so. And they should have got to the point. The motherfuckers going down to the ring and being old and stuff like that, and all the jokes that was being said, the crowd couldn't wake up after that. And it was just like, oh, God. Then the real New Day comes out, and it goes on for even fucking longer. The crowd couldn't get into that. I couldn't get into that. That segment went way too long, and the old day got beat up by the New Day after Anderson and Gallows just retreated, as you will, there will be a tag team title match at Clash of Champions. But that segment went on way too long. Jinder Mahal versus Darren Young. Anybody take Jinder Mahal seriously? No, I didn't think so. I don't take him seriously either. Darren Young wins. Titus O'Neil was on commentary. Titus O'Neil goes down the ringside, and Titus O'Neil gets his ass whooped by Darren Young. Not hearing that. In this fucking feud, please. It's not going anywhere, and no one's buying it. No one's buying like Darren Young great again or anything like that. We're not fucking buying it, okay? It's just in that shit. So, Braun Strowman, Braun Jax, Nia Strowman. What's the difference between those two? He actually went against Sin Cara, and Sin Cara tried to mask a little bit of offense, but then he beat Sin Cara by count out. No, please, just stop it with the whole dominance thing already, and put him against someone and actually have a couple of licks or something like that, more than Sin Cara. Sin Cara was not a fucking threat. He just wasn't. Yeah. So, Sasha Banks had some bad news for us, and I really wish they wouldn't have let go of Bad News Barrett. But it ended up being a hoax because Sasha is actually challenging Charlotte at Clash of Champions, and Dana even came out and got put in a bank statement and stuff, and okay, yeah. Sasha had a lot of people fooled. Just like when Mark Henry had a lot of people fooled when he made his retirement speech and then he floored John Cena. People are actually crying for Sasha. I was just like, okay, get it over with. You're not retiring. We would have known it ahead of time. You're not retiring. But it was still good. It still got the fans emotionally involved. It did. But we knew that Sasha wasn't going to retire. It's just, no, her injury wasn't even that substantial. So, you had Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I've already mentioned that earlier. But the main thing that pissed me off was afterwards. After Kevin Owens beat Sami Zayn, you have Roman Reigns come out. And if next week, if he beats Kevin Owens, he will be put in a triple threat match at Clash of Champions. Look, don't fucking put him in that match. It's funny because they're trying to put him in so he will only be the only face in that match, but he will be the most booed in the match. So it doesn't make sense to fucking put him there. If you're going to transition Seth Rollins to be a face or even a tweener, then keep Roman Reigns out of the fucking title scene and out of the fucking match at Clash of Champions. Doesn't make any fucking sense. By the way, after that, Jericho tries to come out and tries to do something, gets a spear for his troubles. So, at the end of the show, once again, you have Roman Reigns there. Regardless if there's a champion there or not, yes, the champion did end the show, but still, you fucking paste Roman Reigns there. Fuck that, alright? I'm sick of that. I am so fucking sick and tired of trying to paste this dude at the end of the fucking show. No, man. Anyway, that's my Raw review / report. Anybody disagree with what I said? Do you agree? I would like to, read your comments below. I mean, I always welcome comments and debate, especially when it has to do with wrestling. I mean, come on. Was it a good show? Was it a bad show? This show was lots of steps down from last week, because last week's ending was the pinnacle of this year so far, in my opinion. But now they just reverted to what they were doing before. What's interesting is that there was no Triple H. He didn't say a word. He didn't come on the Titantron. He didn't say anything. We didn't even see him. So he was involved with the title change or the title crowning last week, but he wasn't there this week. I think that, look, okay, fine. He made it all about him last week, but this week he's nowhere to be found. Fine. Keep him off the fucking show. Drop kicks, body slams, throwing motherfuckers over the top rope, both feet hitting the floor. Yeah, I'm a wrestling fan, and damn it, they couldn't capitalize this week from last week. Last week was yes, and this week was happy, 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 whippy, whippy. Fuck. Can't win them all. It can't be perfect every week. This is the theme, and I'll see you guys later. Credits.